and welcome back. I am really happy you're here and I hope you're doing really well. If you're new here, my name is Claudia. I'm a certified personal trainer as well as yoga teacher. And on this channel, we talk about everything related to aging well or well aging and happiness. In today's video, we are talking about fasting for longevity and why, though almost every longevity expert, including David Sinclair and Andrew Huberman, promote fasting as an essential part of a well-rounded longevity or anti-aging routine, I personally don't practice fasting, and why you might not necessarily want to either. So I recently received a comment which prompted me to make this video. This particular viewer wrote, "Questions. I see that you are promoting aging well instead of anti-aging. I know you follow all the amazing resources to keep us younger looking, one being fasting. But after fasting, I feel I have accelerated the aging process. I also noticed that many of us who are using the fasting method, including you and Andrew Huberman, are not looking younger and in fact look much older in just 1 year. Your thoughts, please." This viewer goes on to say, "Please don't take this offensively. You are absolutely awesome and beautiful. I am just afraid that fasting may not be as good as they think." First of all, I am not taking any offense, and I doubt Andrew Huberman would either. Secondly, I have always said that personally, I do not practice fasting for longevity or any other reason, and that for the most part, I am not a proponent of fasting. Now, of course, there are many different ways to practice fasting, from intermittent fasting or time-restricted eating to alternate day fasting and even prolonged fasting. And while there, of course, is some research suggesting that fasting can extend lifespan, as well as some research suggesting that intermittent fasting could possibly help with obesity. And while, of course, as this viewer pointed out, I do quite a few things to hopefully help me age as well as I possibly can and hopefully extend healthy lifespan, such as exercising on a daily basis, regularly exposing myself to heat and or cold, taking, of course, certain longevity supplements, prioritizing and tracking my sleep. Fasting, again, is not something I practice for several reasons. First of all, I have a history of an eating disorder. I was anorexic for almost 2 decades, 1 decade severely anorexic. And I have wasted way too much time restricting my food intake and obsessing over when to eat, what to eat, and how much to eat. And I really wish I had that time back. Also, while I feel completely recovered, there is a small fear that was I to practice fasting or even just time-restricted eating, that my somewhat compulsive mind would start playing tricks on me again. And I would slowly start slipping into those unhealthy eating habits again. And lastly, now that I am recovered, if I don't eat on a regular basis, not only do I get quite cranky, but also weak because my blood sugar plummets. And calories, of course, are energy. So if we don't consume enough calories or not regularly enough, we may not have the energy we would like to have to live our life. So these are my personal reasons why I don't practice fasting. However, having worked as a personal trainer for almost 28 years now, I have worked with many women who don't necessarily have an eating disorder, but they have disordered eating. And I think obsessing over our weight, counting calories, categorizing foods into good foods and bad foods, wasting too much time thinking about when to eat and what to eat, feeling guilty after we eat certain foods, disliking or even hating our bodies, Those are all things many of us women, and maybe even some men, are more than familiar with. And in my opinion, telling somebody who already doesn't have a healthy relationship with food and or their body to fast is not a good idea and may even be dangerous. And lastly, as we women age and enter into menopause, dysregulated or diminishing hormones can put a huge stress on the body. And again, in my opinion, adding another big stress, such as fasting, is not a good idea until at least hormones are somewhat balanced again. But it is not just diminishing or dysregulated sex hormones, but dysregulated cortisol levels due to living a highly stressful lifestyle, which can also make it quite challenging for the body to adapt to yet another stressor, such as fasting. We do all of these things, right? Fasting, exercising, heat or cold exposure, to elicit a positive response from the body. All of these things fall under the principle or concept of hormesis, stressing the body in just the right amount. Not so little that it doesn't have to adapt, not so much that it can't adapt, but just the right amount, so it has to, but also can adapt. If we stress the body too little, not much is going to happen. If we stress it too much, we may end up feeling like this viewer, worn out and much older than we would like to. So again, in my opinion, asking a body which is already dealing with dysregulated or diminishing hormones to fast is not a good idea. But please remember, these are just my opinions. If fasting, no matter the format, works for you, if it doesn't zap your energy, if you don't have any strange hang-ups around food, if it improves your quality of life, then by all means, please keep fasting. We are all different, and what works for one doesn't necessarily work for another. But if you have tried fasting and you ended up feeling like this viewer, you might want to reconsider. I hope this video was helpful. I would love to know, do you fast? And if so, what kind of fasting do you practice? And what benefits have you noticed? Any questions or comments, of course, please leave them down below. I always love to hear from you. And that's it for this video. Thank you so much for being here. Until next time, bye.